Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille show. My name is Jerry Miller. It is great to be with you on a gift of a Tuesday outside. We're live on the I Love CVille network for Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world. We're going to tell the story of Charlottesville Ballet today on the program. Two fabulous ladies, Emily and Sara, that are really doing a phenomenal job in our community of creating a niche for arts and for culture and for ballet and for community in Charlottesville and across Central Virginia. We're going to spotlight their journeys as co-directors and the evolution of their brand. We're going to find out what makes them tick and what they're passionate about as moms, as people that are key in our community, and as people that are certainly pushing the community forward. The whole premise of our program is to spotlight the best of Charlottesville, Virginia. And I think Emily and then Sara embody those qualities. Before we welcome them to the show, let's thank some of our clients for being a part of this program. We are an advertising agency at I Love CVille and VMV Brands. And on the first and second floor of the Macklin building, we represent this morning was 113 clients. We love what we do, just like Emily and Sara. And when you make your passion your profession, you don't work a day in your life. And I feel very proud, and I feel very, relieved and very grateful. That's the word I'm looking for, to work alongside so many great small business owners and small businesses in Charlottesville. It's phenomenal. Interstate Pest and Service Company is one of our favorites. We represent all aspects of their brand. Anything from a TV, radio, social video originates here in the Macklin. They started in 1969 with the first generation, Mr. Robert Wells. He's since passed away. He used his personal truck and sweat equity to build a company and payphones in Charlottesville. Today, 4 generations of family are running this business. They have almost 100 team members and a Commonwealth-wide working footprint. I mean, it's just amazing. Same with Dr. Wagner, a proud client of ours as well. Scott Wagner, Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Whether it's physical therapy, chiropractic care, or sports medicine, Dr. Wagner has your back. Judah, why don't we do this? Why don't we go to the studio cam, my friend, and let's welcome the ladies to the set. We have Emily and Sara right here. Thank you for joining us, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Our pleasure. We will give some props to Lonnie Conley for helping set up this interview. And I will get out of the way and ask the question we ask of all our guests. What makes you tick? Your passions, your hobbies, and your interests.
Yeah, so what makes me tick? I think I just love seeing progress in both my personal and professional life. I obviously love the arts and creation of all things art, both visual, musical, and my passions are the arts. I love anything that also involves athletics and health and wellness. So those are my main things.
How long have you been in Charlottesville?
I have been here our business has been here 12 years. You'll hear the whole story, but I lived here when we first started the business, and then I moved to Richmond while we were still doing the business, and then I moved back. So I was working another full-time job while we had
You're grinding.
Riding and riding. Now my lovely husband drives, so he has taken up the commute.
Nice. All right, so why don't we get you in the mix, Emily, and let's talk about some of your passions, your hobbies, and interests.
I think my passion is really the community building through the arts. So yes, I love ballet, I love the wellness, I love all that stuff, but it really is how do we bring people together through our business or through education or through really fabulous performances with beautiful people who are doing what they love. I think the other big passion I have is for our wellness mission. I personally struggled with 10 years of eating disorders and stress fractures and medical issues and 2 surgeries, and so I think that's something that I'm really passionate about, spreading the word of these dancers are athletes and they really need as much care as the NFL or the NBA team, so really bringing that to light of what we're doing here in Charlottesville and bringing the wellness mission.
Awesome. First, let me salute you for your courage of that statement.
Yes.
I have huge respect for that. Anybody that is willing to showcase some vulnerability in front of thousands of people and 6 cameras and a microphone, you deserve big time props.
It's a platform that I'm honored to be able to share with everyone, and I think we don't talk enough about it.
Right.
Yes, and for our young children and for body image, and especially in the age of social media, we have over 600 students now in the academy that we're training, and so I think it's been my honor to have the platform and to try to just share that message that it is okay to be vulnerable and to say, hey, this is a problem, and let's see how we can come together and help each other.
When did you give us an insight into the crossroads? When did you find the confidence?
Yeah.
Or the courage?
Lots of good therapy.
Yeah. We talk about that on the show too.
Yeah.
Like therapy, therapy in 2020 unfortunately still has like a stigma of almost being not taboo, but like, I guess we're going to go to therapy type thing, but it shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like how you find the best version of yourself,
Yes.
which in the, what it's all about. That's what we're trying to do here. What you guys are trying to do is be the best version of yourself every day.
Yeah.
Throw that entire topic to you and let's talk about this here.
Yeah, I think especially if you're talking about professional athletes, which professional ballet dancers
Yes.
are athletes just as much as any other sport. You need the nutrition coach. You need the psychological therapist of like getting your head in the game. Literally, if your head's not there, you can't have the best game. And so I think for me, I had a really wonderful shout out to my family, supportive family. My father, he did, the Boston Marathon. He's a big sports guy. Said it's just calories in and calories out. Like, I don't get it. So I think the education for parents and for people saying, this is mental health, but it's also physical health, and those come together. And that's really why Sara and I co-founded this organization 12 years ago, is without the mental and the physical, you can't do the sport or the art.
I love it. Jump in here.
And in ballet, it is so much more prevalent just because most dancers have a very specific personality type, usually type A, very, very detailed. You have to be good at the craft and the art of dance. And so that alone, in addition to spending hours each day in front of a mirror, just makes you hypersensitive to your body. And your body is your tool, it's your craft, it's your thing that you're using, it's the instrument. And so you want to perfect that, and then it can lead down a really, really dark path. And so I think most ballet dancers have struggled in some way with disordered eating or eating disorders. And that's why we really did start the company, to see if it was sort of a case study to see, is it possible to have a company that is truly healthy and supports real health and wellness? It's not just what we say, but we truly, in all of the things that we do, believe that mission and live it out.
Why don't we do this? We'll thank some of the folks that are watching. Nora is watching the program. Majidri, Jeff Fowler, welcome to the program. I see Richmond, Virginia watching. I see folks in Charlotte watching the show here. James Watson, hello. Lauren, hello. If you guys want to leave some positive comments or ask some questions to the ladies, just put it in the comment section of the 12 Facebook pages or give it a like and a share, and I will relay it to them. How about this question? How did you guys meet? I mean, it's like an obvious dynamic. We were joking off air that Judah Wickhauer and I, the director, finish each other's sentences after 8 years of working together. You guys have spent how many?
50. I met you in 2005. Whatever.
Okay, so 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably a lot of ways, and I joke about this a lot of times, I spend more time with him in a lot of weeks than my wife.
Oh, yes. Every week.
You're men, right?
Definitely.
Okay, how did you guys meet? I'll get out of the way.
We
Go.
met at the Richmond Ballet. We were
Nice.
both trainees there. Emily and I were both roommates, and then Emily was actually injured. She had suffered a stress fracture, and she started working at a restaurant, a country club in Richmond where I worked.
Okay.
And
Sara had worked in New York, like in the real restaurants, and I was like, teach me how to wait tables because I need cash.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a starving artist.
Fast cash.
she was
Yeah.
the pool kiosk girl, and I
Nice.
quickly said, no, you're not going to make any money sitting there doing that. Without asking any managers, I just said, you're going to come with me and learn how to do this. And so people would say, why is she following you? She's the kiosk person. And so I taught her how to wait tables, and we called our section the Ballerina Bistro. We were out on the terrace by the pool, and we would wear matching uniforms, but do our hair the same. And people thought we were actually the same person. And it was pretty unique because they didn't have a shared sections in that place. And so we shared our section and tag teamed every table, and we would make our own pepper butter and
They were
things that you're not
totally
allowed
against
to do.
health
It's
code.
against health code.
We made specials because people wanted them, and we were like, ooh, market demand.
We played our own music.
We're like, we're going to get better.
So you guys knew right away, like besties here, that there was something on the horizon for you guys.
Well,
We had this like entrepreneurial spirit,
but we never even talked about starting a company.
Really?
We were just making money being ballerinas.
and people were like, why are they tag teaming? We're like, well, it's better service and it's less work.
Yeah.
And if I screw up, I can blame it on
cover
her.
for you.
You guys have used this joke before.
We have, yeah. It was such a like entrepreneurial spirit.
But we had no idea we were going to start a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are in ballet in Richmond. You're grinding,
Yes.
trying to pay the bills, an impressionable time. So what age range was this, do you think?
I was 18.
And I was 21.
Okay, so you guys are like just starting to figure things out.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you know, and I'm going to throw this topic, you guys take it anywhere you want. Did you guys know that ballet was going to be in the future somehow?
For me, definitely.
Yeah.
For me, I felt like there was nothing else I wanted to do in my life, that I just loved creating. I loved using my body, and I loved what a gift it is to be able to do what you love. I didn't ever think that I would be able to do it full time without waiting tables or babysitting or working for a magazine company, working some sort of side job. I never thought it would be possible to do it full time, but I definitely knew, I knew it was definitely forever for me.
Not so much for me.
No? Why not?
I think at that point in my life, when I turned 19, I just got really frustrated with the world of ballet. I went to nerdy school for math and science, Governor School, and if you
Smarty
had asked
pants
me
over here.
at 12, I
Yeah.
would have been a doctor, but I was like, hey, you can only do ballet for so long. You've got that career window for professional sports and athletes. So
What's the window?
realistically, 30 is
Get
pretty.
out.
Yeah.
So and now it's changing, and professional dancers are dancing longer.
Yeah.
I think that's because we've increased our ability to understand what is good for your body. But yeah,
But it's
I
pretty
think
short, and so
it's
I
really
was like,
short.
let's dive in. I mean, it's now or never. But I was pretty disheartened with bosses saying if you lose 10 pounds, you'll get a job, and with all of the stress fracture, the medical, not having an adequate medical team. And so at that point, I was like, you know what? I can go back. I can be a doctor and fix this if I, do that. So I was kind of looking at options. I've always had a passion for like the startup grind culture. So I thought I gotta figure out what else I can do to fix the problem instead of just be a ballerina and suffer.
So walk me through the flip book, I guess the flip book of 18 and 21-year-olds in Richmond. So you guys are doing ballet. You're making some cash at the country club. You're probably like, from time to time going out, having some fun, hitting the bar scene every now and again, right? Is that safe to say?
Now we're pillars to the community.
Okay, now you're okay, so Richmond, you're having a great time. I mean, you're young, you're getting after it. We don't have the responsibilities that we have now.
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
There was nothing to lose.
Right, there's nothing to lose, so you're having fun. So what happens next after, give me the flip book.
Yeah. So Emily started going to UVA.
Okay.
Yeah, 2008.
Yep.
Okay.
And I was teaching at a local dance school in Charlottesville,
Okay.
and teaching in Richmond, commuting. And my brother and sister-in-law went to UVA, so I was familiar with Charlottesville. And we both did no market research. We just said UVA and Charlottesville. It's a cultured community. There's really great restaurants.
And
there's no professional ballet company.
Yeah, there's so much arts and culture and music. I played violin and always done competitions. There's education programs from when they start in kindergarten.
Yeah.
I said, this is such an artsy place.
Museums, galleries, but no professional ballet. Lots of schools, but just no company.
And we knew that Charlottesville could support because they had like $15 appetizers.
Appetizers.
That was literally
our market research.
You guys are getting a lot of props right now. How about this one from Erin Hill? Sarah and Emily are the best. How wonderful to see strong and smart women running a successful company and giving our community the gift of ballet. Said it better than I could, Erin. Well said. You're getting some props from Chick Craddock. I think that's your neighbor. He says, hi, Emily. She is so cool. She's my neighbor. I love watching this right now. Give it a like and a share. Susan Proctor, Kathleen Murphy, Allison Hart. I'm seeing a lot of Richmond, Virginia, a lot of DC watching the program as we speak. Okay, so you're at UVA. You're commuting from Richmond to Charlottesville because you're teaching at a studio. What happens next?
We decided that it's going to be our case study to start a company. And so Emily said, if you move here, I'll help you do it. And I said, of course, we can do it. Why not?
And we held a little summer showcase August 11th of 2017.
August 11th of
we
2017.
did at the Ix complex, back before Portico Church, before any of that big renovation down there. So we had a little show, and it was basically all our friends. It was totally startup. We were painting the wings. It was a mess.
Respect.
But we were like, let's see if we can hold a show. We have all these people who are off on the summers. None of the dancers had contracts. And we put a little show together.
Yeah.
And at that show, we had a wonderful woman who is Dr. Heather Snyder. She's now our medical director, our former board chair. And she had a daughter who Sara was teaching. And she said, you guys, this mission, this idea, this little nugget of health and wellness, you're onto something. And you got to make this, you got to do it.
You gotta do it.
And so with that support, we were like,
This is great story.
guess
I'm
let's
getting
do it.
goosebumps here.
Yeah.
So that's like someone with like street cred, school cred, like a big time baller saying like, go.
You should do it.
Yeah. So how did that make you feel?
We were shocked, but also
Yeah.
really proud. And I think it gave us the courage to say, okay, this is going to be more than just a one-time show. We're going to create something out of this.
Yeah.
So from there, we had a part-time company. We started, Emily was in school full-time. I was working multiple jobs full-time. And we had a board member that we met. So we founded it as a nonprofit organization, still a nonprofit. We had a board member, Kelly Silliman, who donated space to us. But the only hiccup was that the space was in Greene County.
Okay.
So all of the dancers would carpool and drive 45 minutes to Greene County to rehearse in a little tiny studio. It was an awesome studio. It was called the Dance Barn, a little tiny studio. And we would pay 25 cents an hour
and wash her dishes.
and wash dishes for trade.
Really?
We had no angel donor. We had nothing. We had no stuff, no costumes, no...
Mind you, this is 2008 and the worst recession of
Sure.
our time.
That's when I launched this business, was 08.
Yeah.
So when you launch a business in a recession and you have success, you're going to do really well
last.
and great times, and you're going to last.
Yes.
So when you're launching it in 2008, were you guys like, and I'm just being myself here, were you like, oh shit, what are we doing here? I mean, were you,
I think
did
a
you
lot
have
of
that?
I think a lot of people were saying that to us.
Yeah.
I wasn't really scared because again we had nothing to lose. I was already working 4 jobs and commuting, and there was really
I had $1,000 car. That's about it.
yeah. So I feel like if we had a family and people to support other than ourselves, it would have been scary. But at that time, you're so young and you just have this passion and this grit that gets you through.
So you're getting some props from Florida right now. Emily Ann. She says, hi, Emily and Sara from EP in Gainesville, Florida.
Aww.
Lots of love to CVille and to you all. Love hearing the story. Put your comments in the stream and I will relay them on air. Roger Voyne, hello. The chef, Greg Dione, hello. Jeff Saunders, hello. Janet Pruitt Knight, hello. You got a lot of people watching right now. All right, so talk to us. Was there an aha moment?
I think. Well, you go ahead first.
I think the original company, so again, it was 3 of us. Sara, who's working, Caitlin Lennon, who's now our associate director, has been with the organization since the beginning. Yeah. So it was really 3 dancers, part-time. Our contracts it was peanuts. Yeah. But we said this
Put it in perspective, peanuts.
Like $200 a season, not a show.
Yep.
A season.
Yeah.
And driving to Greene County.
Yeah. It was just a thank you, a stipend to say thanks.
Sure.
But we were adamant that there would be
a compensation.
stipend.
Yeah.
Because you don't value people unless you give them something.
I love that.
Yeah.
So even if it's going to be small, they're going to get something.
I love it.
And we had said, we started at this nonprofit. We had a fiscal agent, so we hadn't really done all the paperwork. Mm-hmm. I was going to school. We were like really hustling to get it all together. And Sara and I always said, like, we don't want to ever train or educate. We really want to have these dancers, and we're going to build this whole vision of the company with wellness, and we're going to recruit. And then the next 3 seasons, basically, we had dancers from all over the world and across the country coming and saying, I'm going to come audition in the mountains in this tiny little dance barn.
Little cold studio.
And would leave New York and California and all these places to come dance with us. And they're incredible talent. I mean, we were recruiting with nothing to recruit with. And we said, gosh, it's really turning into a rehab for these broken dancers who had been told you're too that because your skin is too dark, or you're too short, or you're too this, too that.
You're too big.
Yeah, and it was like, wow, we're actually, or, horrible things with training where now you need a hip replacement when you're 35. And because your teachers tell you this and you've trained in this way for the last 20 years, you're broken, either physically or mentally. And we said, we really should stop this. When the children are 5, let's look ahead of it. Let's get ahead of it and see if we can start educating. And maybe we should be open to the idea.
So then we started our academy. We actually, one of our board members found a space for us.
And what year is this?
This is
2011.
Yep,
2011, okay.
We were still in Greene County.
Okay.
That board member was leaving, moving up north to get her master's degree. So she was selling her business, we decided the whole nonprofit would purchase that business.
Stop.
So we had her school.
Dude, you guys
So-
got it.
Asset purchase agreement.
Yes.
Yes, asset purchase agreement.
Again, we had nothing to lose. And we had about 79 students
Yeah.
when we started the school.
Okay,
Up
so
in
where was
Green.
that?
Up in Green County.
In
Okay,
Green
okay,
County.
so okay.
Yep, we
Okay.
stayed there for 2 years.
Yeah, and we had
And then-
Mickey List, who's one of our
Yeah.
amazing advisory board members. She had us down at McGuffey Art Center, so we were doing like
Some classes
couple days a
downtown,
week,
but
trying to
most of our
recruit.
most of our classes were in Green County. And then we found a facility where we are now on 29 off of Woodbrook, and we found the space and we thought, there's no way, it's too big, there's no possible way we could get this. And we have an awesome landlord that helped us get it, board members, and we moved from the space in Green County out to Woodbrook and 29, and our school just sort of blew up. I think the first year we had projected to have 150 students, and we had 300 before we even opened the
Nice.
doors. So
and that was
it's been-
really like the hold the nose and jump
Yeah.
moment where we were just like,
You
How
have
so?
to.
Tell me why. Because you're going from, you're kind of like, going big time here.
I mean,
right?
annual operating budget was what?
was like $30,000.
Yeah, $30,000.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
we
were-
had grown.
We also have forgotten a really important part of the story. So Emily and I did not pay ourselves anything the first. I
remember what that was like.
5 years
Yeah.
of business. So that's why I was teaching at other schools, and Emily was in school for a while. But we had really committed to not paying ourselves. We would reimburse ourselves for things that we bought, but
Sure.
we wouldn't pay ourselves.
All
a
the money
salary.
went back to the business.
Yeah, and so that when we did that, when we found the space on Woodbrook Drive, we had cash in the bank to do a build out of the space and didn't have to get a loan at
You guys
all.
are ballers.
Wow.
well, we're also really fiscally conservative.
Yeah?
I have a
And
lot of
Sarah
grits.
was
A lot of
also, at that point, that was when CIC came into the picture.
Yes.
Ooh,
So it-
Community Investment Collaborative.
Yes. Yeah. So we signed a lease. Our board had us sign a lease, and I signed up for CIC and took the entrepreneur class, and
Nice.
it was amazing. I wish I would have done the class first, but it was amazing.
How so?
Amazing. I just learned so many things about the business end of running a business that regardless of what kind of business it is, whether it's a for-profit or
Sure.
a nonprofit, good business is good business.
Yeah.
And so many things that I learned from that class, I just wish I knew when I was in Green County, and we could have set up things a little bit better. But I'm now a board member of that nonprofit.
Awesome.
And it's amazing to see full circle how my life has.
We've
has
had
grown.
Stephen Davis
Yes,
and
I've seen.
Lee Elberson
Yeah, yes.
on this program.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
I've watched both of them.
CIC is amazing.
They're amazing.
Let's emphasize that
Their
another
graduation
time.
tonight.
Is it
It's
tonight? Isaiah Brooks, I think, might be speaking at that
think so.
graduation. Cajun
so.
King. All right, so let me throw this to you here. And guys, give it a like and a share on any of the streams. Kevin Yancey, hello. I see Green County watching. Now I know why. Green County's watching the program. I mean,
Yay.
talk to
Humble
us
roots.
about going to off of Woodbrook. And then going from like a space that's going to increase overhead, where you're going to have to pay money out of pocket for build out. And you said you had 300 participants right off the bat.
Yeah, as soon as we opened that space, we had 79 when we started. We didn't know if those 79 would follow us to Charlottesville. I would say about 40 of them were already commuting from Charlottesville, so we knew we'd had 40 students, but that's
wasn't
not
gonna
going to
pay
be
the
Because
enough.
that's an extra, that's probably like a 25, 30-minute drive there that you're
Definitely.
asking for people.
Definitely,
And
yeah.
traffic there can snarl.
For sure. And some parents are already working in Charlottesville, so then they go to Green County to pick up their kids and
Right.
come back. So
Doing
we
a
were-
double commute.
Right. So we were looking to gain new students by having that new facility. And at our old facility, we had 1 studio, and now we were increasing to 3. And we did it pretty responsibly. We did it in phases. So the first studio we had built out was just 1, and then we had the 2 additional built out later on.
We had a little hard hat party.
Hard hat.
Ooh, what was the
fundraising
hard hat party?
It was really cute. All the dancers had hard hats.
The construction hats?
Yeah, we had like
Nice.
champagne toast.
Nice.
In the very raw space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how about I'd love to highlight this because I feel like, and one of the stigmas we try to debunk here is doing what we do as entrepreneurs and as founders. You watch these shows like Shark Tank and CNBC's The Profit.
Yes.
It's they embody qualities that this is we're rock stars, but it's the absolute opposite.
Yes.
Before I got here and walked into the studio to talk with you guys, I was taking the trash out.
Yes.
You know?
Scrubbing
Yes.
toilets.
This
Yeah.
morning.
Right.
Just this
CEO
morning,
and
yeah.
toilet scrubber.
Right.
Yeah, I cleaned both bathrooms. It's very rewarding to clean a bathroom.
Right, right.
And then I taught a class, and then I did some admin work, and then, yeah.
So
No,
we're doing every aspect of the business as a small business owner.
For
So
sure.
here's the question I'm going to throw to you: when you're going from Green to off of Woodbrook, your current studio and headquarters, how about the sense of fear
Definitely.
or vulnerability. Like it's important for us, for the entrepreneurs that are watching or the aspiring ones, to highlight that and put in perspective. A, it's okay to feel it. It's natural. B, it's like really real.
Yeah.
And C, being an entrepreneur, co-directors, entrepreneurs like yourself, can be a lonely place.
Absolutely.
Throw that topic and I'll get out of the way to you guys.
Yeah, I think the fear portion of it, I was just incredibly fearful, not for us, because we had not that our employees didn't have grit, but we had the grit, we were sort of living that life. We had now committed to paying certain people certain salaries, and the thought of us not meeting those goals to be able to do that would be devastating, because we had people that
We're counting on you.
Yeah, and they had put so much time and energy into the time in Greene County and helped us sweep the floors. They helped us paint and helped us move things. And so we felt like it was time for them. They deserved it. And so it would be devastating for it not to work out. And then I think there was a little bit of fear that people just trusted us. We'd gotten it to such a, paying that 25 cents an hour to now this big lease, that people trusted us. And I think there was a little bit of fear for me of what if we got it wrong.
What's a big lease like in perspective?
So we had 2,000 square feet where we were at. We were going to 4,500 square feet.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is real.
It was, yeah.
And what kind of term? Like length?
It was
that
a
lease?
5-year lease.
That is so real.
Yeah.
So much respect for you
Yeah.
guys.
And it wasn't like we have, again, I think, bring up the Shark Tank thing. We didn't have angel investors
Right.
or,
You're bootstrapping.
no donors that just said, here's a couple $1,000 or here's, thousands of dollars.
Right.
We didn't
a couple
have
$100,000.
Yeah. So we knew we did the work. I had attended CIC and they had set us up with really good resources of this is going to work out. But there's always that fear in business. If you don't sell, you don't make money.
Yeah.
So it's the same for a nonprofit of we rely on individuals to donate to fund our programming, but we also rely heavily on those individuals that take class with us.
Of course. And then if they're enjoying the class, they become evangelists for the brand and tell other
Exactly.
people.
Yep. Exactly.
What do you remember of
I
that
think
fear?
I graduated from UVA in 2012,
Okay.
and I made my own major. I did nonprofit management that I made. So I basically.
So was that Jefferson Scholar?
No, it was a interdisciplinary major thing.
Gotcha.
So I was doing the work. I was basically writing grants for school, and then we would apply,
Actually
and then we'd get them.
Yeah.
And I got an A.
So it's like perfect for this.
it was great.
And so I was really fortuitous.
I've been really focused on the development and the fundraising aspect. And so for me, I think that was the fear at that point of 2013. Okay, we're going to have these like little mini galas with hard hats and like, well, what if we need to raise this much money and we don't hit it? At that point, it was tiny goals, but it was really that stress of like, how do we build relationships? How do we get these parents or these people who've come to see the professional company shows, how do we get them to really engage and get involved with our organization and see the vision? How do we paint this vision and make sure that people like say yes and write us little checks for $100?
Did you struggle with this? 2012, graduate of UVA.
Yeah.
You're talking about one of the best public universities in the world. Did you struggle with like, should I go into the workforce and use this, or do I go down the road of this startup that is unknown? And the reason I ask this, because when I launched my business in 2008, I was doing a syndicated radio talk show on 7 ESPN affiliates, 3 states, 2 TV shows, had a column in the Daily Progress, and a website online that was we were doing really well. Yeah. And I remember when I said I'm going to quit all this, that my mom and dad then recruited 3 or 4 of my friends and literally had an intervention at my place. I walked in the door and they were like right there trying to talk me out of it, saying, don't do this. And in retrospect, one of the best decisions outside of my wife that I've ever made in my life here. Throw that to you. Were you like, oh shit, am I really going to do this?
I actually wanted to quit school midway through like 2010. We had just gotten our nonprofit status and I was like, I was pre-med. Met my husband, who's at UVA. He was in med school, and I was like, this is like ballet, but worse. You just get paid better. So I really had flipped that around 2010, and there was so much growth and so much excitement, and Sarah and I felt that vision and really where we wanted to go with Charlottesville Ballet. And so in 2012, on my graduation thing, I actually didn't ask for graduation money. I asked for them to donate to the nonprofit.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. So I was like, please, Grandma, instead of writing me a check.
And did she?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Grandma.
So I think that's, at that point, we really knew, and we had seen with the work, not only just the professional company, but the Charlottesville Ballet Academy. And in 2013, we then started our community engagement programs and all the community building and that work. So I think at that point, I was pretty sure.
Sold.
Yeah.
She was sold on it.
Sold.
A lot of comments coming in. Let me get to some of the comments. Chester Elegante.
Yes.
This is absolutely fantastic. Julia Mitchell. The best people. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji. One more heart emoji.
Julia's one of our choreographers.
It's the best. Give it a like and a share on any of the streams. Catherine Nice.
Yes.
My niece.
Yep.
Yeah. Sarah Jensen Clayborne and Emily Hartka are such wonderful role models and leaders in our community. I'm so grateful to know them and be able to work alongside them. I will get to more of these comments. Just put them in the feed and I will pass them along on air. So talk to us about Woodbrook. So 300 is participants the right word? 300
Yes,
members?
Students, yeah.
Okay, so you're anticipating 150, right?
Yep.
You get 300. So you're 2xing your students
Yes.
out of the gate.
Yes.
How did you meet that ridiculous demand?
It was
that an
Wait
issue?
list.
Yeah, and it was all word of mouth. We
Yeah.
literally spent we put up a sign,
Uh-huh.
and it was word of mouth. We spent $0.
Yeah.
Were you nervous about the demand that was coming and how you were going to service it?
Yes.
Yeah.
At that point, so our upstairs facility has 3 studios. One, which was our mandate, is the exact size of the professional company stage that we were performing at. So it's 50 by 30. It can adequately, service all these productions, so then we can take them onto a stage. Then we had 2 other studios, and in CIC speak, we had said, what's your, cost per unit, and how much room do you have per, what does a kid take up in a studio? So we'd done these, data analytics numbers, and we, at that point, now 2014 almost, we had wait lists for all these kids. So 2014 into 2015, gosh, they were 8 deep, the wait list at some point. We had parents calling saying,
How's that making you guys feel?
stressed again.
Yeah.
Good. It's
Yeah.
a good stress. Definitely
Yeah.
a better stress than
the alternative.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Which is like crickets.
yes,
Yeah.
like begging people.
And
Right.
we had done
Yeah.
this strategic plan, and we were meeting all of our goals, ahead of schedule. And then we were really I feel like it's always the entrepreneur life where you're on the treadmill, and it's going too fast, and you're like, okay, this is awesome. This is the best
Yep,
run of my life.
it's great.
But how do we get ahead of this? How do we not have parents calling saying, I promised my kid ballet, and now they're in tears.
can't.
And
Yeah.
it's just a horrible feeling
Do
to say.
you guys, okay, and I'm going to learn from you guys here, and I ask this a lot. Do you how do you manage, or do you struggle, or does this come across in your business like the 2 steps forward, 1 step back, where it's progress? Shoot, this is bringing me back a little bit here. Throw that, how do you manage that? Give me some advice. Because I feel 12 years in May, similar timeline with you guys, we're always going forward, but sometimes not necessarily at the speed we want to go.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I look at business as not always linear.
Okay.
That you can kind of go this way. I don't know if you can see my hands, but it's not always a linear pathway. So
I like that.
It'll feel like 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but it's not. It's sort of like around the bend, waltzing around.
Nice.
And so I think for us, being such a small business, celebrating all of those victories and all of those wins, whether they're financially or interpersonally or just mission-based wins to us, is something that we try to focus on. And then the little hiccups or things that feel like a step backwards or really around a bend are sort of an opportunity for learning. And that's been
That's a hell of an answer right
huge for us. I think we've learned a lot. There have been lots of things that we never, which I'm sure you agree with, in business. I think the thing that is so exciting to be an entrepreneur is that 2 days are never the same.
I love that aspect.
Never the same.
It's not boring.
Yeah, it's never boring. And you're constantly learning. So so those things that could seem like they're a step back are really just more opportunities for you personally to learn and for the business to grow.
Jessica Russo, welcome to the program. Laura Fauner, who is the soon-to-be owner of Dooner's Restaurant. Jacob Conley of the Conley brothers. And we gave Lonnie some props earlier today, Jacob. He says, I play a lot of racquetball. That's how Lonnie and I know each other. Lonnie plays squash. Jerry, ballet will help with your racquetball footwork.
Definitely.
Also, hi, Emily and Sarah. This interview is amazing. All right, throw this question to you. The mission you touched on. What is the mission of Charlottesville Ballet?
Stated mission is to elevate the art of dance through wellness, performance, education, and community outreach.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's really everything we do. So we have the professional company, the academy, which we started in 2011, now with 600 students, ages 1.5 to 89.
Brawler.
Yeah, and then we're actually in the process, kind of talking about the steps forward and backwards. We're in the process of kind of rebranding or rethinking our community engagement program.
Okay.
So, Chance to Dance was the name of the program. In 2013, we started it in Greene County. It was funded by the CACF, the Bama Works Fund. Shout out to Dave.
Yeah.
And so they helped us launch that program. It's I think I can't have a favorite, but if I did, it would be
It's
Chance to
definitely one of our
Dance.
favorites.
Why so?
We go into the public schools, so right now we're in Charlottesville and Albemarle. After school dance education program, totally free. The kids now have a showcase that's happening every May, and it's bringing hundreds of kids together on stage, totally free, public performance.
That's legit.
And our goal, the most impactful thing is we give lifetime scholarships to 10 to 15 kids every year. And this is, again, when we sat there, first couple of years, we're looking at this company, we say we want to have a company that has all shades and shapes and sizes. But how do we really do that? Is you got to go in and give opportunity and close those gaps for people who come from all shades and shapes and sizes. Yeah. And so we really have seen the growth of that program over the last 7 years.
So much respect for that, because in help a dummy here, a layman, I would think that the demographics of ballet are what generally, and
Let me talk about ballet.
educate me. From a layman's perspective, I would think generally affluent and white.
Yes,
The
you
tra-
are absolutely correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
the tradition.
Unfortunately.
Historically, it started in the courts of Italy and then developed in the courts of France. It was the patriarchy. It is based on segregation, discrimination of skin tone and socioeconomics. I mean, it's a beautiful art form, but that's just the truth
But it has
of the matter.
a deep, dark history.
Right.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, so let's get deep into that. Why is it just because you need money generally to get involved?
I think classes are very expensive. Once you get into a pre-professional level and you start specifically in ballet doing point work, the
What's
shoes,
point work?
those are the special shoes that the dancers wear to stand up on their toes.
Okay.
Those
They're
are
not cheap.
They're about $150 a pair, between $100 and $150 a pair, and they can last a dancer only a week.
Stop it.
Professional dancers.
What?
Yeah.
You think the NBA kicks are expensive,
That
and
is
then
crazy. I had no idea.
And they have to hand sew the ribbons and elastics onto the shoes, which can take an hour. So you've spent $100 on shoes that you then gave an hour of your life to. And then some professional dancers wear those shoes for one show. Like if you dance Swan Lake, your shoes will be dead by the end of that Swan Lake.
Wow.
Yeah, so ballet companies have extreme expenses.
So that's why you guys are so passionate about this, because you're bringing this fabulous art and this fabulous form of dance to a demographic that otherwise may not be touched by it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's historically it was the patron system. If you think of the Degas era, there's the men with the canes that literally supported the women, and they were told what to do, and they're basically concubines in some historical cases. So that has been the tradition, the long-standing history. And I think of many of the stories that ballet tells, if you think about the Swan Lake, and it's the heroine in distress, and there's not very many
the
females.
antithesis of what you guys are.
Yes. And we love, it's the most beautiful art form. It's so pure and gorgeous, and it's kind of like learning to play, classical violin before you can go and fiddle and be a rock star. So it is really the gateway. It's the basis of so much movement and dance. It's this high esteemed art form. But how do we cut down all the BS and bring it to the masses and say, this is for you, not just these people who are white and privileged and have.
And are you seeing results from it?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We, in our Chance to Dance program, we have about 250 students in that program. Each year we give lifetime scholarships, as Emily said, and it's hard for us to choose which students. It's supposed to be 2 per school, but we've up to about 4 per school.
Okay.
And every year, those students come and take classes with us. In addition to that, we also have a financial aid program. So anybody in the community from anywhere can come
So much
and have
respect for you
accessibility
guys.
to the arts. Yeah.
It's about almost $200,000 in scholarships
Each
and financial
year.
aid that we give.
And we still have work to do. Like that, we just had a meeting about how can we do it better and how can we include more in our community.
Do you guys, okay, here's a tough question for you. And let's thank some of the folks that are watching that are giving you props right now. You're getting Cassidy Burke is just loving what she's hearing right now. Go Emily, go
She's
Sarah,
one of our
go.
dancers.
I see a lot of your dancers, or at least folks that have Charlottesville Ballet and their likes or interests here on watching the program. Let me throw this to you. Would you call yourselves entrepreneurs first? Would you call yourselves dancers first? Would you call yourselves
question.
human connectors first? Conscious capitalists or social entrepreneurs, which is what we try to do. You run a business in the black so you can do well by your team members, help them buy homes, keep the lights on, but do it in a way where you're leaving the footprint in a better place than when you first arrived in the community, a conscious capitalist. How do you describe yourselves?
I'm going to speak last.
Yeah, she always speaks first.
You guys have a great dynamic. I hope you do holidays together because I think I would just like watch you guys like interact with each other.
Yeah, I would say I don't really think of myself as an entrepreneur. I think I really like the word change agent.
Oh, I
and
like change agent, yeah.
I don't feel like I live up to it. I just like it. But I think that really community builder and like human relationships, I think is really important. Entrepreneur feels too like businessy to me sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that's like the spirit or like startup. I have we did the Strengths Finder with one of our amazing board members, and I have a lot of ideas. So like ideating and trying to like think about how to increase and make things.
Well, that's what an entrepreneur is.
Yeah, but I don't like the I don't know. That feels
Is it just
like
because, isn't it funny, and I'm going to get out of the way, same question to you, but isn't it funny still to this day, I feel like entrepreneur or like businesswoman or like businessman, it like still has some like negative connotations associated with it.
For sure, yeah.
But like, I don't understand why they still have those connotations because like these change agents or like idea creators are the ones that are helping create jobs and building the communities and doing the social missions that are bringing like ideas and new concepts to people that otherwise have no opportunity to be touched by those ideas or new concepts. I'll get out of the way. Anywhere
Well,
you wanna go.
you stole my answer, sort of.
Sorry.
I was gonna. That's okay. I was gonna say I definitely see myself as an entrepreneur. When I took the CIC class, I went to that class and I was like, I would come back to Emily and be like, these are my people. I finally found my people. I feel like I am definitely an artist and I love to create and I love to dance, and that was a part of my identity. But the reason I was able to escape eating disorders, I think, was because it was just part of my identity. It wasn't my soul, it wasn't my whole body, and part of me is creating, and I think that you can be an entrepreneur and still connect people and still have a social aspect to it. And I think that the best organizations, the best businesses are those that do that. They have this passion, this great product, this great business, but then also care about their community. So
Amen.
I definitely see entrepreneur as my title.
we looked up B Corps didn't exist till 2013.
Yeah, we just missed it.
We missed it.
What's B Corps?
The for-benefit corporation.
Okay, okay.
So we looked at that. Now I'm like, we've actually had board members suggest like, you should be a B Corps. And for Charlottesville Ballet, our business revenue model for most nonprofits, it's about 60% donated and 40% earned income, contributed versus earned. And for us, especially in the early days, it was like
It's
totally
80-20
flipped.
for a
It
while.
was donated primarily, right?
No, we were
Really?
80 earned and
Really?
And we got a little
Interesting.
tisk from some of our possible grant funders saying, you don't look needy. You don't. It doesn't look like you're doing.
But we
the
were
work.
saying we are needy. We're just going at it.
Why do you think you didn't look needy to the people that were issuing
Well,
grants?
80% of our income was earned, so they were saying if you can earn it, then just keep earning
And
it.
if
You don't
can
need
do
a
those
grant.
children's programs with
Yeah.
tuition coming in. If
So
you
they
can
were
do-
basically saying get more overhead. In some ways, weren't they?
I think they were saying we want to see.
We could have.
Yeah, but we could have. I think they were saying we want to see more people donate. Want to see that people are invested in you, not just for a service or a product. We want to
Got
see
it.
that people are invested in your mission, and so get more donors. And so for us, as I'm going to call myself an entrepreneur,
Yes.
as an entrepreneur, that is what you need to do in a nonprofit for sure. But
So that's what you were trying to solve.
we were trying to solve that. We were also, though, ours is a little bit different of our business-minded structure of business is still business, and you have to have income to be able to pay people. And if you want people to be of the highest quality, you have to pay them. And so we have worked on our unearned side, and definitely as a nonprofit, especially with point shoes being $100 a pair, you have to have both. But for us, the only way to be sustainable, we didn't have an angel donor, was to have that earned income as part of our income.
And we've really watched, especially with the recession, we've watched dance
Other
companies
fold.
and other arts institutions fold. You know, you lose Mrs. Gotbucks with her $1 million gift, and it's over. Those dancers have no jobs. Those students have no education programs.
Yeah.
And we just said,
We
we're
want to
not-
make it sustainable.
Yeah, we're not comfortable doing that.
Did you find...
Not that we don't want Mrs.
Right. Of course not. Did you find, and this is maybe a really too technical question. We work with some other nonprofits, and they've mentioned that some of the tax code is changed, and the emphasis on donations is not as strong as it used to be. Did that impact?
No, actually, that's a great question, because a lot of nonprofits had that questioning when it all changed. For us, I think, and for a lot of Charlottesville nonprofits, most of the people that give because
They're passionate
about the organization. They want to see the mission alive.
Got
So we
it.
didn't see any impact at all.
And right now, Jerry, I mean, our average gift size is about $200.
Yeah.
Respect.
We
You're
are
doing
the
volume.
Obama pyramid.
Yeah. Yep, we're the Obama pyramid.
Where like it's all reversed.
Lots
we
of
have
little gifts.
So many amazing. Shout out to all of our donors.
Yes, all of our donors.
Whether
Meaningful
it's
gifts.
kids
Yeah.
that are raising, for dancers, they're
Yes.
raising money for scholarships. They're about to raise almost $15,000 in April.
Yeah.
They get donut parties from Carpe Donut.
Yeah.
So we really try to, in everything we do, say, the spirit of philanthropy for these young kids, saying, being here in the building and having your parents bring you to a class is a privilege. And not everyone in our community has it. And not that we need to say, hey, we're giving all these kids scholarships, but just having that conversation that the arts are for everyone, and having the kids raise $12 to help provide scholarships for their peers is a total game changer for parents and for them to have that spirit of philanthropy.
Amanda Troplowski, welcome to the show. Cal Irvin, Kevin Yancey. You're getting props from Sophia Wicks. Yay, Emily and Sarah. Give it a like, give it a share. Put the comments in the comments section. I will pass it along to the ladies. Okay, so throw this to you. I want to get to what's next for Charlottesville Ballet, because you obviously are like goal-oriented visionaries here.
Definitely.
So what is it sounds so cliche, but is there a 3 and 5 year plan here of what you guys want to do?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, we just did a strategic plan with our board.
Okay.
We have an amazing board of directors that helps guide that and grow the organization. Two main things for us that come up are, we've talked a lot about our academy. We do have a professional company of dancers. So they're dancers that audition from all over the world to come here to Charlottesville. They didn't go to UVA. They have no association with the university. They come to live here to dance in Charlottesville. And so
Where do they stay?
They live here full time. They get
Find their
apartments.
housing.
Yeah, they
Wow.
get apartments and stay and get other jobs, jobs around Charlottesville. But we've had dancers from Japan, from Brazil, from all over that come to Charlottesville. So we want to really invest in those artists. They're amazing professional dancers, and grow that brand and help people understand that we don't just teach little kids ballet and tap and modern and contemporary, but we have professional, amazing dancers that perform throughout Central Virginia. So we want to increase the knowledge of that part of our company. And then we have a CB Moves outreach program, which encompasses our Chance to Dance program. It also, Emily teaches our Movement for Parkinson's class, where we give free classes to those with any sort of movement disorder and their caregivers.
How does that work? I have a intimate or an immediate family member that is showing early signs of Parkinson's.
Yeah, so Emily teaches a class.
It's on Wednesdays at 2:30.
Okay.
And one of our board members co-leads it, and it is, I think, the most incredible part of my week is watching people come in. I'm having a bad day. I'm not feeling good. And I'm having all these struggles with my medications. We give them really a place for building community. Awesome. And yes, then we move for an hour.
Yeah. And they don't even have to talk about the disease. It's just a safe place
Like an
for
escape.
them to move. Yep.
And there's so much research now coming out. It's part of the Dance for PD program through Mark Morris, which is an awesome modern dance company. So that's kind of our training and curriculum. And they talk about, they're doing a lot of research and collaboration, which we want to do one day with the science, bring it all together of saying actually movement and doing an hour of movement is just as good as some of the drugs coming out. And so investing that time in their bodies and keeping everything moving really has shown a lot of potential for stopping the progression of the disease.
You guys are badasses. I love what you guys are doing.
And this is all free. This is part of our community.
This
CV
is
Moves.
amazing.
Yeah.
So if you were mentioning about getting like the professional dancers coming to Charlottesville Ballet to train. They come and train at Charlottesville Ballet, and then they go dance globally somewhere.
Well, they actually perform here. So
Okay.
we have a performance season. So we do the Nutcracker annually every year.
Okay.
And then we do one main big ballet in the spring. This year it's Snow White.
Okay.
And then we have mini performances in our studio theater. So they get paid to perform, to actually live their craft out here in Central Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah. So they're all professional dancers. They've trained to a high level. They audition to be here. So they come and audition and show us their skills, and we select particular dancers. We offer them a contract, and that's their job, which is really hard for people. People usually say, well, they teach or they train. And we're like, no, they do it for a living. They've gotten to that level.
Do you ever talk to each other or look at each other or pinch each other and be like, we were 18 and 21 in Richmond, and we were trying to do this.
Yes.
And now
Yes.
we have this,
Yes.
where people from Japan are coming to our brand and business and
Yeah.
doing this for their
Yeah.
career. That's sick.
Yeah, we start all of our meetings, both with our board and our staff, with a mission moment. And so
Ooh.
every time we have a meeting, somebody shares a mission moment, and it ties it back in to why we founded the company. What was the purpose? What is it? Why do we do all the things that we do? Why do we clean those toilets? Why are we mopping the floor? Why are we having those meetings? And so I think we're often reminded, and then we often remember our humble days in Greene County, where it was
Right.
cold and it was a long drive, and we were working other jobs and going to school. So I think we're constantly reminded.
Because if someone said to me, and this is a layman talking, I'm going to start a ballet company in Greene County, I would be like, excuse me?
You're insane.
What are you? Are you going to do what?
Yep.
Good luck to you.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah. And now look at you guys.
Yeah,
It's
been
amazing.
amazing.
What do you want to see from the brand?
I think the professional company is a huge point of investment for any major ballet company. I mean, you open the doors, the people come to work, and they're not making money. It's the amount of salary and point shoes and everything it costs. This is why most ballet companies, there's one exception, they're all nonprofits, because you have to have that contributed support to have this high caliber roster of talent. And so I think for us, we've now expanded. We're the resident dance company in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Nice.
Shout out to Lynchburg. The resident dance company at the Academy Center of the Arts. They did a $30 million historic renovation.
gorgeous.
Kind of like our Paramount downtown. They've done a really beautiful renovation there. We're performing up in Fairfax with some grant funding. And so we're really looking at how can we bring these amazing, talented individuals and share their work throughout the Commonwealth. And for them, it is a little bit non-traditional for the ballet company world. It's usually like you're 9 to 7, 6 days a week. You're our people. We tell you what to do, where to be. They get paid a bigger salary. They don't have to have as many side hustles. But I think for us, we have a pretty non-traditional. It's about 25, 30 hours a week. They're basically like 8:30 to 2:15, 3 o'clock. We provide gym memberships for them. Shout out to ACAC, who's our corporate sponsor. They provide them with the gym memberships. We have Pivot Physical Therapy, who gives over $15,000 in-kind
Free services.
Free
to our
services.
dancers.
So if you're having a foot ankle problem, you go and they're going to give our dancers what they need. And I think that's been really what attracts people and helps us keep recruiting this talent to Central Virginia, because we're able to provide those resources for them.
I love this story. We are 57 minutes in. This has flown by here. How about we close with highlighting some family that has helped along the journey?
Yeah.
Because speaking from what we do on these two floors here, if it wasn't for like an amazing, wife, she is like, I say it all the time, like she's like the sun for our family, and like we're kind of like planets that rely on the sun to kind of stay,
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll get out of the way here. How about you guys? How has it been with family, whatever it may be, helping along the journey? Because this is not easy.
No, it's definitely not easy. I think for me, my parents were definitely supportive. I think there were for sure times that they were saying,
What are
is
you
this
doing?
going to make it?
Right,
Are you going to ever just have one job? Are you ever going to have health insurance? So they were always supportive and always willing to just listen to me, and were a huge support. And then my husband is just amazing. I was just telling the story the other night of when he met me, I was working 2 full-time jobs, making very little money. One of them was Charlottesville Ballet, where I was making nothing. But the moment we met, he just believed in it and believed in the mission. And
awesome.
He's helped design he's an architect and has helped design our studios.
So on the advisory board.
He worked as the box office. He'll literally chip in and do anything, anytime, and is absolutely, I think, my biggest supporter and probably one of the biggest supporters of Charlottesville Ballet. And I would not be able to have accomplished, I think Emily and I both with our spouses, we wouldn't be able to work the hours that we work in the capacity that we work without having
What kind of hours?
team. They're kind of crazy.
Yeah. Right.
I think we're establishing more balance as we both grow families. And I think it's an important thing to me as a woman entrepreneur to set those boundaries, to say, no, we don't have to work 12,
Because you have a
15.
3-year-old.
I do, yeah.
And you don't want to miss those. I mean, a perfect
Yeah.
example is I'm doing the same, probably like 60, 70 hours a week here.
Yeah.
And like, it's such a like catch-22, or like, I guess that's the right phrase, like grinding here to support the family, but at the same time, like missing moments like my son's first steps.
Yeah.
And it was like, it made, and I'm getting kind of emotional now.
Yeah.
Like, it was like hard.
Yeah.
Because like, I want to see my son walk for the
Right.
first time.
Right.
But at the same time, I have to do this
Right.
to be able to like pay the more, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
build the business.
Yeah.
I think as a mom,
Yeah.
I realized, I think when I became a mom, it was a struggle, of course. But then I think I realized that if I love what I do so much, it's going to make me the best human that I can be. And then if I'm the best human that I can be, I'm going to be the best mom that I can be. And then just setting really clear boundaries for myself and my family and integrating, I mean, thankfully in our business, I can integrate my daughter in some capacity so that she can be involved. She can come to shows, she can come watch some rehearsals. And I want her to see that it's possible to be a strong woman with a supportive, awesome rock star dad, and that you can have somewhat of a balance with the two, and that you don't have to work crazy hours. I want to find that for our business, not just for myself personally and for Emily, but for all the women. We're growing, almost 500 small young women that are going to grow up to be business leaders, and I want them to have that balance and understand what that is. And that just ties into our mission of health and wellness. What is health and wellness if we're working crazy hours and not enjoying our families? So it's been a passion of mine. It's a struggle, and it's still a process. Still learning.
Great answer. Same.
I'm watching Sarah.
Yeah. Hard to follow right there.
No, I
Still
think
learning,
I
still
think true.
learning.
Like the 70, 80-hour weeks. Like we're doing it. It's been part of the growth process as you're building business. For me, I'm expecting my first in April with my incredible husband, but he always jokes that Charlottesville Ballet is Sarah and I's baby.
Right.
And he's like, you're gonna have to ignore that child for a little bit.
Right.
So I think
this business here, I tell this to, you got me thinking. I tell everybody that I have 2 kids. I have this soon-to-be 12-year-old and a
High maintenance
2-year-old.
12-year-old.
Right,
High
and,
maintenance.
and they need the same thing. They need to be nurtured, matured, fed. One's fed, obviously, money. One's fed food, taken care of, shown where to go.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's like the weight on your shoulders. We're like, we've watched this grow for 12 years, and then now I'm expecting like our first other life. So I'm looking at Sarah and all these amazing role models I have of moms and dads who are hustling and doing it. And I think for other family, my parents, my stepmom Sharon and my dad Joe, who is in Afghanistan, right now have been incredibly supportive. My father, who said, he didn't actually speak to me for 6 months when I turned down a full ride to a school for biology back in the day when I was like, I'm going to go be a ballerina. He has been such a wonderful supporter, and I think he is so proud of the entrepreneurial spirit and everything we've created. So they've been incredible. And my mother, Susan Proctor, who we joke was our fairy godmother, literally sewing costumes backstage to make things happen and really get us off the ground. And I think all of our families of both Sarah and me and all the dancers in the early days, all of those supporters who've made it possible for us to be here today.
I love it. How about this last question? Charlottesville Ballet, how can all these viewers learn more?
You can visit us at charlottesvilleballet.org.
Yeah, and we have the Facebook, the Insta, all the good stuff. And we will be premiering our new version of Snow White here at the Paramount on March 14th. There's shows at 11 and 4.
Yes.
Amazing. You guys rock. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for having
Jerry.
me.
Yeah, it was
Thank
fun.
you. So fun.
It was a lot of fun. We will archive today's show in totality on iloveseville.com. And for 2 weeks after today's show, we'll syndicate it across the I Love CVille network, which is 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts. We have the third largest Instagram in the Central Virginia community, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to 125,000 plus inboxes every morning at 11 a.m. We'll turn this into a podcast on Apple Podcasts today by close of business, and the show in full totality on ilovecville.com. It's a moving story. I love the entrepreneurial journeys, like the trials and the tribulations and the roller coaster rides, and I get so inspired and strengthened, and it makes me want to be a better version of myself too, hearing these journeys. We close with the same message every show. We ask everybody to please embody the golden rule. Just treat the folks that you come across in life how you want to be treated yourself. It's the golden rule. Charlottesville needs the golden rule. We know the country needs the golden rule more than ever. Please embody it. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille show. On tomorrow's show, we have Ann Dunn. She is the founder and I think the lead trainer at Formula behind Shayna Dojos on Preston. And we're going to talk about her journey as an entrepreneur and how she's trying to be the best version of herself and inspire the folks that come to her gym to be the best versions of themselves as well. The whole premise of what we're trying to do at I Love CVille is to showcase the best of Charlottesville, Virginia through the eyes of people that are doing it firsthand every single day. That's all we're trying to do. My name is Jerry Miller. We will see you tomorrow at 12:30. Take care, guys. Great.
Yeah,
seriously.
Thank
Great.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Snap.
We're so good. Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
fun.
you. You were great.
It was fun.